Right, let's not play no games. I need full-on participation. I need you to get down in the comments and work with me.
There was no hesitation and no diplomatic answer, just a straight call about who shouldn't make Team USA. What makes that so fascinating is the confidence behind it, because what follows challenges some deeply held assumptions about how USA basketball builds rosters.
Who should not make this Team USA team? I'm gonna give you my roster that I would keep. Let me know if you agree or not.
This isn't loose fan chatter anymore. There's a real debate about whether experience should trump current performance, and the answer might surprise you. The proposed starting five signals a complete philosophical shift. Caitlin Clark at point guard, Jackie Young at the 2, Kalia Copper on the wing, Dearica Hamby at power forward, and Aaliyah Boston anchoring the middle. What's notable is what you don't see, the old school approach of loading up on veterans with Olympic mileage. This lineup prioritizes form, chemistry, and frankly, the future of the program. That matters because USA basketball has historically valued continuity. Players who've been through cycles together, who know the system, who've earned their stripes across years of international play. It's the logic that helped Chelsea Gray make the Paris roster even as Caitlin Clark put up an all-time rookie campaign. Leaving Clark off ignited controversy, especially with fans pointing to her blend of playmaking and deep-range shooting while Gray was working back from injury. The backcourt rotation here is paired to 4 and built to run. Clark is the engine, Jackie Young adds two-way stability, Kelsey Plum brings Olympic pedigree and shot creation, and Paige Buchers supplies pure scoring feel with secondary playmaking. The tension is obvious. That group leaves Chelsea Gray out entirely. Gray is a finals MVP, a trusted closer, and a longtime pillar of the national team. The counterpoint is about timing and health. She's entering her 30s after lower leg issues and logged a lighter, less explosive season. The numbers were solid, but not at her old elite level, and this construction asks a hard question. Are you picking the resume or the present tense player? The wings and front court deepen the shift. The choices lean toward length, switchability, and pace. Sonia Citron's feel and size, Rakaya Jackson's slashing and shot creation at the forward spot, and a modern big rotation with Hamby Boston, Cameron Brink, Angel Reese, and Kiki Harrigan point toward a team that plays fast, stretches the floor, and defends in space rather than pounding the block possession after possession. The flashpoint is obvious. Cameron Brink over Brittany Griner. Griner is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and one of the most imposing defensive presences of her era. But Brink represents a different template for where the international game is headed. Rim protection, mobility on switches, and the potential to space offensively. The caveat is health, since Brink's ACL recovery complicates any immediate selection. That's why this exercise is less about one tournament than it is about philosophy. Angel Reese filling the final seat makes sense in a defined role. She's an elite rebounder already with ferocious motor and defensive activity, and she set a record-setting pace for double-doubles as a rookie. The key is usage. On a roster loaded with scorers and ball handlers, her job is to vacuum the glass, pressure the paint, and defend. No need to shoulder creation. When she drifts beyond that lane, efficiency dips. Within a clear role, she raises the floor of every lineup she touches. That's the kind of utility championship rosters need. All of this means some big names get left out, and that's where it gets messy. Chelsea Gray and Brittany Griner are the headline omissions, and the explanation is generational change. Historically, USA basketball doesn't move like that. They value institutional knowledge because FIBA ball is a different animal. A wider lane, a shorter three-point line, more physical officiating, different rhythms and angles. Veterans who felt that speed and physicality are trusted for good reason. That's why Sue Bird was still delivering at 40 and why Diana Taurasi kept a jersey into her 40s. That continuity has translated to gold over and over. But the gap is shrinking. The Paris gold was earned, not handed. Australia pushed. France led. Tournament games were tense, not tune-ups. If the rest of the world is closing in, the United States may have to prioritize athleticism, shooting, and present tense dominance instead of legacy. Clark changes the math here. She became the center of the biggest selection controversy in years, and the optics of keeping an electric, high-impact rookie off the roster while leaning on dinged-up veterans were brutal. It raised a larger question about process. If selection is about picking the best 12 right now, then age and medals can't be a shield. If it's about honoring tenure, then prepare for blowback when form and health don't match the moment. Seen through that lens, the lineup choices cohere. Clark organizes the floor, bends defenses with range, and supercharges tempo. Young steadies both ends with pro-ready strength and decision-making. Copper runs lanes and pressures the rim. Hamby gives you activity, spacing, and connective tissue on both ends. Boston gives you touch, positioning, rebounding, and a defensive anchor who reads the game a step early. Off the bench, Buchers swings games with shot-making. Plum pops lineups with pace and gravity. Citron and Jackson slot in as long, versatile wings who can scale up or down depending on opponent. Brink, health permitting, adds modern rim defense and matchup-proof agility. Reese supplies boards and edge. Harrigan deepens the size and shooting mix. You end up with a younger, quicker, switch-heavier group, designed to win games in today's international environment where threes, speed, and rangy defense decide margins. This is also about Los Angeles in 2028. Home soil pressure is real, and the roster that maximizes those odds might not be the roster that honors past contributions. A youth-tilted group gains invaluable reps at the 2026 World Cup, then rolls into LA with experience together, modern schemes, and stars in their prime. That's how dynasties breathe between eras, by handing the keys early enough that the next driver isn't learning on the freeway. None of this dismisses what veterans like Gray and Griner have meant. It just acknowledges how brutal selection can be when you prize the present. The argument for keeping them is easy to make. Gray's poise in late-game execution is rare. Her ability to dictate tempo, hunt matchups, and deliver surgical passes under pressure is exactly what wins knockout games. Griner still punishes switches, deters drivers, and changes shot charts by existing within 8 feet of the rim. But if you're aiming at 2028, not 2019, you have to weigh how much of that excellence still translates against faster, more perimeter-driven opponents, and how much development time you want to invest in players whose ceilings align with the next Olympic cycle. There's another current running through this debate: identity. Is USA basketball going to keep defaulting to seniority and continuity, or will it evolve toward a performance-forward model that adapts to a world catching up fast? The rest of the field is loaded with skilled guards, bigs who can move, and wings who hit threes in bunches. International teams scheme ruthlessly and punish post-bound lineups with drag screens and skip passes. To counter that, you need 5 players who can guard in space, make quick decisions, and weaponize pace. That's where a Clark-centric build makes so much sense. She turns defensive rebounds into immediate advantages, finds shooters before the defense can tag, and pairs with Boston in actions that punish both switching and late help. Surround that with Young's balance, Copper's vertical pressure, and bench groups that never sacrifice shooting, and you get a roster that wins the math and the tempo. It also matters how the program handles optics. Clark's exclusion last cycle inflamed fans, energized critics, and overshadowed the team's actual play. A selection process that clearly prioritizes performance can quiet that storm. Pick the best 12 now, communicate the criteria, and own the hard calls. If legacy matters, say so up front. If form matters most, show it. Fans will accept tough choices when they can see the logic on the floor. All of this brings us back to the uncomfortable heart of the matter. Are you ready to tell champions that their time as automatic selections has passed? Are you ready to build around a new face and a new style? It's not disrespect, it's succession. Clark as the hub, Boston as the anchor, a guard rotation that never lets defenses breathe, wings who can toggle between roles, keep the ball popping and hit corner threes, bigs who cover ground, contest without fouling, and run to the rim. That's a team designed for the next 4 years of international basketball, not the last 4. Maybe USA basketball won't go this far, this fast. Maybe they split the difference and keep a veteran or two while blooding the next wave. But the argument for a full-throated pivot is strong. The world is too good now to win on muscle memory. You need speed, shooting, and schemes that travel. You need players who are thriving today, not reputations that peaked 2 seasons ago. And you need a backbone that can carry the load when the lights are hottest on home soil. So what would you do? Would you move on from decorated veterans to build around the next generation? Or do experience and championship pedigree still outweigh current form? Should Caitlin Clark be the starter from day one, or should she chase minutes behind established guards until she forces the issue beyond debate? If you had to make the last 2 cuts, who's out, and why? Drop your thoughts below and tell me how you'd shape this roster if Los Angeles 2028 is the true target.